It's happening. It's happening. Chef's kiss. God, that was a good sound on that one. Hello all of you beautiful little demons, Jules here for WhatCulture.com, back again with another episode of the awesomely named and awfully hosted Choose Your Own Adventure, the weekly medieval themed format where I, the crown Jules of WhatCulture.com, take a list chosen by you, yes you the person who finally, after a year of having a board game channel, got themselves some custom dice. Look at them, look at all of the logos that are on the sixes that I probably won't roll. Because I'm terrible at the games I play. Yes, you get to decide what list I dole out to you each and every week. And this week we have none other to thank than Thomas Irwin for their suggestion, a brilliant suggestion of just the best video games that were based on movies. And oh my, how I want to talk about this. Because as a whole, the movie video game tie-in is a genre that is well, it's got some stinkers in, let's be honest about that. We've got the Fight Club video game, that's disgusting, Charlie's Angels, and of course who could forget Street Fighter the movie, the video game. Excuse me while I vomit in the bin that is right next to my desk here. Yep, that's made of wicker. Right into the carpet. So yeah, there's a lot of bad games in this genre, but luckily we're not talking about the stinkers today. We're talking about the diamonds in the rough. So, as per usual, say hi to me here in the live chat, pop your suggestions for next week's video down in the comments section below, and let's get on with today's list, because I'm Jules, this is WhatCulture.com, and these are the 10 best video games based on movies. Number 10, The Warriors. The Warriors video game tie-in might well be one of the finest crafted video games I've ever played. And yes, I am obviously besotted with the Warriors original film, but still, this isn't just blind nostalgia fanboy me talking about this, it just is that well made of a game. Rockstar, you have knocked it out of the park like you were part of the Baseball Furies. Hoo-hoo, yeah. Now, while the team could have just settled for a rehash of the film's narrative, they dared to go much further, providing a story that not only hits the highs of the film, but also details how the Warriors came to be, their conflict with the Destroyers, and even mini-missions that gave the original cast backstory and depth. This isn't a love letter to the source material, it's a bloody bibliography, and in fact, if you were to boil down the experience of punching people in the face, then huffing some cocaine and going on a mad, rage-fueled bender, it would have to be this. Nice! The addition of multiplayer makes this all the sweeter, as does the bevy of extra content including gang building versus modes and even a fully realised side-scrolling beat-em-up game hidden within the Warriors HQ. I love this game and everything about it. Let the record show. Gremlin hands. Number 9, John Carpenter's The Thing. So survival horror video games always look to try and invert the relationship that the player has with the sense of empowerment, and while a lot of titles will try and make the player feel like Billy Badass, a world-kicking in-the-face machine that they are, the survival horror genre tends to do the complete opposite to that, depowering you at any given opportunity and making you feel like a wee little bug about to get crushed under a big heavy boot. No, please, I don't like your size 10s. The Thing video game takes this idea to the absolute extreme, making you not only feel utterly helpless at the best of times, but also undermines your trust in your team to the point where paranoia truly does set in. The game's central gimmick is that your fellow soldiers can turn on you at any time, either through being assimilated or by losing their own grasp on reality. As such, the title not only plays out as a terrifying bug hunt experience, but also sees you having to gift precious ammo and resources to keep the few remaining survivors on your side, meaning that you are so ill-equipped, it's almost a joke. This creates an atmosphere so taut it feels like you're going to be ripped limb from limb, which is something that the enemies of this game are sure to help you with. It's a stunningly well-made title that manages to expand on the lore even if it is non-canon, making it a must-play for fans of John Carpenter's classic. In fact, it is so good that it obviously receives today's musical interlude. James, are you ready? Jazz, are you ready?
Yes.
Yeah. Let's all say it at the same time.
Good, because we're about to deduce who is the thing amongst the three of us. Who's the thing? Where should I begin? Is it you cheeky monkey, looking oh so funky? You got tentacles for hands and mischievous plans, but no, I think that maybe it's James.
It's not me.
Sorry mate, can't hear you over the flames. Number 8, Ratchet and Clank. Right, so I know that this next entry might be considered to be a little bit cheeky, but bear with me on this one, because while in effect the 2016 release of Ratchet & Clank is actually a remake of the original title, it technically is a movie counterpart tie-in because of the fact that it splices in scenes from the CGI film, and you know me, I love a technicality. Plus, it gives me reason to harp on about how utterly enthralling this title is, from its eye-massaging visuals to sound design so crisp it sounds like a pack of walkers on top of a snowy mountain. This game sings with quality from every aspect. On top of this, the game plays like liquid butter for how bloody smooth it is, and it's one of the few remakes or remasters that technically isn't that feels refreshing as much as it does nostalgic. While it is a shame that the movie itself couldn't hit such lofty highs, when you look at the game, it easily stands among some of the top experiences in this entire franchise, and when you look at that back catalogue of quality, that is saying something. This has been blessed by Slime Jesus, True and Blue, my friends. There he is, come down the sky. Oh, well, look, Ratchet & Clank's rising up from the bottom. Oh, they're kissing, and that's how babies are made. Gross. Number 7, GoldenEye 007. GoldenEye. While this game is utterly brilliant, and we all know it is, let's just be honest here and just get something out of the way first. The controls feel like they have aged like fine wine that somebody splashed some milk in. Yes. But there is no denying the weight, the sheer heft of GoldenEye's big golden balls, which flattened the competition when it dropped onto the N64 back in 1997. Coming off of the back of one of the most exciting and well-received Bond films in years, GoldenEye's cartridge-based counterpart destroyed expectations and the glass ceiling when it came to what an FPS title could be. Ludicrously entertaining enough to play through solo and only better with friends, this was a title that put replayability front and center and was so packed with content that the staffers at Rare must have replaced their blood with a cocktail of illegal substances in order to get everything crammed into the title before the deadline. And this is the thing, by this point in time, everyone and their nan knows about and has likely played this game. You know it, you know you love it. It's GoldenEye 007, baby! What more is there to say? Oh, actually, there is one thing to say, and that is that thankfully, after years, it has been fully certified that using Oddjob is cheating. The dev said it, so therefore you are a cheeky whippet if you still continue to use him. I know you. I see you. Put it down. Put it down. Put down your weird banana-shaped controller. Put it down. Number 6, The Lord of the Rings: Two Towers. So when it comes to picking the best Lord of the Rings video game, it's actually quite a hard task ahead because there are actually so many stone-cold classics amongst the lineup. I mean, you've got The Two Towers, The Return of the King, you've got all of the Lego video games that are based on it, and, I mean, at a push, you've got Lord of the Rings Conquest, which was basically Star Wars Battlefront, but in Lord of the Rings verse. Who didn't love just smashing up hobbits as the bad guys? I'm just saying that was the best part. That was hands down the best part. But if I am to be true to my heart, and I encourage that you all do the same in your day-to-day lives, I have to say, it's The Two Towers for me. I know that technically The Return of the King is the better game. It fixed a lot of the problems and added in two-player, but for me, the first one that started it all, The Two Towers, it's happening. Chef's kiss. God, that was a good sound on that one. Introduced to me by a friend as Lord of the Rings meets Dynasty Warriors, I was instantly smitten with the smoting that I could dish out to the menacing masses of Mordor. It's not a particularly clever game by any stretch, but the fact that each character could access a bevy of combos at any given time elevated this from being a mere button masher to a fairly elegant fighting title. And I want you to look me in the eye and tell me that there is anything more iconic than battling through the muck of Helm's Deep. Oh, it's just utterly glorious. This game is fantastic fun. Number 5, Disney's Aladdin. So back in the day, Disney and Capcom were thick as thieves, working together on so many projects and making so many bangers that you could serve it with a dollop of mash and call it a bloody good pub lunch. DuckTales, Darkwing Duck, Goof Troop, and so many others were converted by Capcom into riotously entertaining affairs. Yet arguably the collaboration never hit a high quite so lofty as when they worked together on Aladdin for the SNES and Mega Drive. This pairing of video games is so utterly sumptuous that it might well be the platformer that defined your childhood. It was a title that was gorgeous to look at, not afraid to push players from time to time, and presented trap-filled rooms, tight timed escape sections, and some really challenging platforming across the entire experience. Now, as to which version you prefer, both have their merits. I'm not going to start another console wars in the chat here. You've got like the SNES version with its crisp aesthetics, and that sound design is just on point, my friends. I'm sorry, the sound design on the SNES will always win out over the muddy Mega Drive. That is a given. But the Mega Drive had one teeny tiny thing that had going for it that kind of tips the scale somewhat. He's got a bloody knife. Take that, Genie. Give me 3 more wishes. No, Al. I thought we were friends. You're not friends with me. You're not friends with Mr. Pokey. Anyway, whichever version you had as a kid, it was likely to be the real diamond in the rough of your collection, and with good reason. Number 4, Die Hard Trilogy. So the Die Hard Trilogy is one of the strangest video game collections that I've ever come across, and its insanity of the content that's inside the disc is actually only offset by the insanity that was going on outside of it when it comes to its release. You see, when this dropped, it did so a full year after Die Hard with a Vengeance, arguably when the series was at its coldest. But still, I'm very glad that this did eventually drop, because the 3 games on this disc are truly something that need to be witnessed firsthand. So what you get, in essence, is 2 mediocre experiences and 1 stone-cold classic. The duds being Die Hard, which is basically an action game that looks as ugly as Cat Sick and controls like Bubsy 3D, which nobody wants. And the hilariously off-the-wall Crazy Taxi-inspired Die Hard with a Vengeance, which may well have the most terrifying game over ever. Ugh. I don't like it, James. However, in between these 2 dog-eared slices of bread is sandwiched the pure meat, the venison of this experience, and that is Die Hard 2, an on-the-rail shooter which is, oh me, oh my, I'm ascending. It's that good. Whoa! It's slick, full of violence, and easily contains more explosions and firefights than all 3 movies combined. Plus, the stock sound effects are so bad that they become instantly iconic. Number 3, The Mummy Demastered. So while the world was pointing and laughing at the flop that was the reboot of The Mummy in cinemas, Way Forward Studios were busy tinkering on something that would make them rue the day that they ever jeered instead of cheering The Mummy. What resulted is easily one of the finest Metroidvania games I've played in recent memory, and its criminal underappreciation ends today. This game is majestic in how it presents itself, capturing the glory days of Super Metroid and infusing them with designs and motifs straight out of The Mummy. The action is incredibly well paced and challenging, and despite not splurging millions on motion capture and flashy realism, it's a beautiful title with sprites that ooze detail and fluidity. Pushing you through battles is a thumping soundtrack that is sure to get the blood pumping, and you'll come toe-to-toe with climactic boss fights that will leave you smiling from ear to ear. It's actually a bit of a shame that the film was such a colossal bomb that it meant that this video game was kept under wraps for many, but I just want you to go and play this. Just do it for old Julesy. Go and play this game and let it burrow under your skin and into your heart like one of those scarab beetles. It will feel funny at first, but then you just give in and everything's fine. Full of bugs, me. Just sounds like I got loads of sexual diseases. Not true. Right, okay. Spider-Man 2.
Instead of saying the entry number, Jules said right okay. That's not right. He meant to say number 2, Spider-Man 2.
It is a true testament to how good the Spider-Man 2 movie tie-in video game was when people were still bringing it up in conversation when Sony released their PS4 version. The fans were totally on the money with this take though, as even today the dynamic web-swinging mechanic, fun combat and light-hearted tone of this title create a winning formula that so many other superhero video games simply fail to hit. The focus of this game is fun, and it's evident that the developers approached every single situation with the angle of, well, how do we make this enjoyable? As such, it's easy to lose hours just swinging around the city, marveling at graphics that, while sharp enough to cut beef on today, were positively mind-blowing at the time. And equally impressive is the sheer amount of content on offer in this title, because not only do you have emergent crimes that always need thwarting, but you also get a super secret Green Goblin side mission story that is so well thought out that you're just like, you've given it away for free, you could have charged money for this. Brilliant! It truly is an excellent companion to arguably one of the best Spider-Man movies. And number 1, Cars. Just stop laughing. Seriously, I will explain. I am deadly 100% being straight with you here. The Cars video game tie-in is actually a phenomenally good title, and it's so incredibly odd to state this because there's so much about this franchise that I utterly loathe. I hate the fact that it was designed for toys first, and then they were just like, let's write a plot around what we can basically shill out.
Just as a bit of a side note, when I was younger I used to actually collect a lot of Cars toys. I'm an idiot, I'm a fool, and I regret it. Thank you.
When they decided to take it away from the racetrack in the Cars sequel, and then that led to planes, I was just like, this is the money-hungry, grubbing nature of Disney at its most obvious. And the plot was just garbage as well. I'm just putting it all out there. Hate it. Hate the movies. I'm just might as well just go all in. Hate the Cars movies. But I love the video games. Because that being said, the video game counterparts of this literal tire fire are actually really decent. The original title, for example, doesn't just settle for being a NASCAR-like title, but actually gives the player a fully open world to explore, packed with tons of quests and fun asides designed to distract. Yet the crowning achievement of this game is how it handles, implementing a weighty drifting mechanic, different handling depending on terrain, and a genuine challenge in the form of AI racers who don't fancy giving you an easy ride to victory. All of this combines into an experience that might look like baby's first Burnout, but is actually surprisingly deep. And you know what? If that's not for you, then maybe you should check out the sequel video game that came out, which went full in, full gear, full throttle, full pace, full whatever, into being a Mario Kart clone. But it actually is really, really fun as well. Now, true, it might be an easy home run to say, yes, we're going to make a racing game based on a series of racing cars, but it's clear that the devs put more work into this than the original minds did into the bloody movie franchise. So in short, Cars the video game, yay! Cars the movie franchise, boo! Damn the scrappy with you, mate. Turn you into a cube. And there we go, my friends. Those were the 10 best video games based on movies. I hope that you enjoyed that, and please let me know what you thought about it down in the comment section below, as well as your suggestions for next week's episode. As always, I've been Jules. You can go follow me over on Twitter at RetroJ with a 0, or you can swing by Live and Let's Dice. That's Dice with a C, where I do all of my streaming outside of work. And in fact, I'm rocking one of the merch from the Live and Let's Dice thing as well. Huggins Max Loyalty. If you don't know what it is, go check out my gameplay videos on my live streams, and it will all make sense, and you can be in on the joke that maybe only like 50 other people know. Still though, would love to see you over there. But before I go, as per usual, I just want to make sure that you are treating yourself well. Treat yourself with love and respect, because you goddamn well deserve it, and do not let anything or anyone else tell you otherwise, alright? You're a massive ledge. Now go out there, like, what's his name? McQueen. Lightning McQueen, and ka-chow! The living hell out of life. God. That was dumb. Big love for me to you, is all I'm trying to say. See you next week, guys. Take it easy. Peace. Ka-chow. What was I thinking, James?